Hey, welcome to this episode of the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit with me, Iona. I am your host at the SoulLegacyTV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. And so welcome to today's episode, Nicole Tuxbury. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you, Iona.
Thank you for joining us. So we are live. We are streaming on my YouTube channel. We're streaming on the socials, and we're also streaming in the attendees Facebook group. So if you watch live, you watch on the replay, then do add your energy to the conversation. Before we dive into the episode, and Nicole, before you introduce yourself, what I like to do is share with our audience a little bit about how I connected with a guest. Usually it's just some synchronicity, it's some divine timing, or it's something like that. So for you and I, so for those of you who don't know and you haven't seen me, I featured on the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit. So all about books, yes, all about like turning what you do, your area of expertise, your purpose into a book and writing, and not just writing, actually monetizing that. So we'll jump into that. So that's how Nicole and I met, and I actually met your co-producer first, and I had Brenda on October's episodes. So I love that we've connected. We chatted on the phone, and we shared a little bit about your journey. So I'm really excited to have you here. So can you share with us what you do and who you do it for before we dive into your spiritual awakening story?
Yes, and so I help business owners, online business owners, to simplify their systems so they can make more money and have more fun so they can work less while they're doing it. So yeah, that's kind of like a summary of what I do.
I love that. And so if you are watching live, so welcome. If you want to leave any comments for Nicole, ask anything on the replay, share this out, because I'm sure that she's going to, I don't think she's going to hold back. So I don't think you'll hold back. So we're going to talk about your first spiritual awakening. And if you guys are new, the way that the summit works is I have, it's a YouTube podcast and a YouTube summit. So I go live on the 2 middle, what I call binge watch Wednesdays of the month. So 9 a.m., 3 p.m., which is today, this episode, and then 9 p.m. So you can join us, and our guests will share about their spiritual awakening, but also what tools they've used for their spiritual ascension. So Nicole's going to share that with us. And also Nicole is gifting a gift to what I call our spiritual ascension after a giveaway, so a spiritual alchemy giveaway. So all the details will be in the show notes. So Nicole, do share with us if you can remember, whether it's in your childhood or in your adulthood, your first spiritual awakening story.
Okay, so the one that you and I talked about was the one that's in my book, Overcome Yourself. And so I was probably about 20. I had just lost my baby a few months before. And I was watching a TV show when Hulu was free. They had a free and a paid tier. So we had free Hulu, and we were watching, actually, it was a movie.
When you say baby?
I'm sorry?
When you say baby, do you say baby? Is it a fur baby?
Yes, I had a miscarriage. Yes.
A miscarriage. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I didn't know. Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what led me down this road, really. So I lost her, and we were watching TV one day, and I've heard this voice. I felt this voice. You don't hear it. You feel it. I don't know how to explain it very well, but it said, I've already forgiven you. So it was like God was telling me, I've already forgiven you. The only one who hasn't forgiven you is you. And so you need to let it go. And I just cried and cried and cried and cried. And that led me down the road to forgiving myself and to just changing my whole life, because, I realized my teenage self really did need forgiveness. Like, I was traumatized and there was a lot going on. And then that was the moment that it was like, it's okay. Like, everybody has screwed up. It's totally okay. You just need to forgive yourself.
Wow, that's huge. I am so sorry to hear of your loss. When you said that, I was like, because your personality, I'm like, because some people, so I didn't know that. So for those of you who don't know, my son was 12 days before his 20th birthday when Donald passed. So, my heart goes out to you. And Yeah, I didn't know that. So, you know, there'll be others that are listening, and, you know, if that's a trigger for you, if you've been through that, then you have your lesson as well. And you heard that voice or that feeling, and you're saying about forgive yourself. And so it's interesting for those of you who don't know. So Nicole has a producer, Brenda Altman, and Brenda was on the show on this summit sharing about forgiveness. So you've actually partnered with someone who actually talks about forgiveness and does that forgiveness for work. Nothing happens by accident. It's so powerful to go through that. So thank you for sharing. So your spiritual awakening, and I like to say from doing this summit, there's going to be so many stories, right, for that awakening and in different areas of our life. And so one of the things that I teach, welcome, one of the things that I do teach is about the awakening might come through, it's fine, the awakening might come through your contribution. I know that you'll talk about that as well. It might come through your health, emotions, environment, relationships, spirituality, and finances. So to lose a child, that emotion and that despair, I can't even, you know, it's a lot. So what other areas did that impact, or did you go through an awakening? Was it a chain of events? Was it an isolated experience? What happened as a result? Did it affect any other areas of your life as you move through, as you move forward?
Yeah, it affected everything. Um, from the location where I lived to the job that I had to, you know, everything that I did. I was in Georgia when this happened, and now I'm back in Miami. I'm born and raised in Miami. And I came back here, and I was a server back then. And I had to quit. I had to stop serving because when I was 21, so all of this that I'm telling you, I was about 20. When I was about 21, that I moved back to Miami. You know, one thing led to another. I was working in a restaurant, and I ended up going to the doctor, and he said, "You have the back of you're 21 years old, and you have the back of an 80-year-old. If you keep going down this road, you're going to be in a wheelchair in less than 5 years."
Wow.
Yeah. So my whole life changed. Like, I had to stop doing what I was doing. The only way that I'd ever known to make money is serving. Serving is fun. You know, it can be fun, like when you go in there with the right attitude. And the good thing about serving is you leave with money every day. Like, you go into work and then you leave with money.
When you say serving, so for the UK, is that like in a restaurant, like a waitress?
Yes,
Or
yes, I was a waitress, and then in the, you know, in the US we do tips, and so I would leave with my money every night. You know, you leave with cash, and so it is a lifestyle. Like, it's not like, you know, you're 9 to 5. Like, you're not used to waiting 2 weeks for getting a check and things like that. And so, you know, I had my whole entire life changed. And so I saw these mommy bloggers, and they're like, I'm making $10,000 a month online, and I have 4 kids, and I never have time. I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it. You know, I don't have kids, so I was like, if she's got time with 4 kids, I know moms are busy. They, you know, they've got a lot going on. So if she can do it, and I see a bunch of moms doing it, it's not just one, then I could totally figure this out. And that's what led me down the road to making money online. But it all started with even feeling that I was worthy to make more money, right? And that's where that, you know, that whole thing started. Is I'm better than, you know, the $200 I make serving, you know? And then, and so it was through gratitude that I was able to really turn everything around.
I love that. And again, welcome. So do leave your comments for Nicole as we get, this is why we do it live. So you can watch it and you can watch it on the replay. If you're joining live, let us know where you are in the world. And I know that people will drop in and out, but I am loving the conversation. So you had a lot in there. So one, the serving, the purpose, that changed, your environment changed, the meaning, the feeling of your own identity and your own worth in the world, and actually and having a look at others and what they're doing online. Because I know that we do when we think, oh, you know, at the end, if they're doing something, I can do it. And I love that. Like, if somebody, and it's true, if somebody else is doing something, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to bring your own flavor and your own style to it. And you said, is again, financial freedom. And so I use vision boards and I use journaling to, when I went through my awakening in all areas, and I rebuilt my life. So it sounds like you rebuilt your life. Was this, how long ago was this time frame, Nicole?
Well, we're in 2023, so I'm 33. So this has been about 13 years ago.
Oh, okay. So it's not that long ago for you to just really transform your life and actually be where you are now. So what tools, as we talk about that awakening and that shift, and that awakening for me is just that shift in consciousness, shifting your identity, the dark times that feel like a struggle, feel like you're never even going to get out of them. We smile now because it's like 13 years ago, but when you're in the midst of it, and if you're going through an awakening and you're going through something behind closed doors, that is why we're here having this conversation. So although we're smiling through it because it's, you know, a long time ago, and for me, we all keep going through them, and I went through one at the beginning of the year through burnout. So it's 13 years ago, you're rebuilding your life. What does that journey look like for you to put some tools in place? Like you said, you know, I'm worthy of going online. I need to make more money. Like I've got my health issue now. What does that look like? What did you actually do in those moments in the early days?
Well, it started with practicing gratitude. Gratitude is the reason that I've been able to do anything else. It seemed like something that was just too simple to work. I'd heard it everywhere. I talk about this inside my book. You know, like everybody talks about gratitude. It's like, no, that's just too easy. It's just like, you know, it's just multiplication, and I already do calculus. That's just too easy. You know, and so we dismiss it. But it was the key to changing my entire life. It was because of gratitude that I was able to adjust my perspective. And so I'm always talking about it because it's free. You don't need to buy anything. You just use whatever you've got. Write the 3 things down. You can write in the shower, whatever it is, you know, with a stick in the dirt. I don't care. You don't need anything else to do it. And really, it's the perspective that changed everything for me, because you know, I have depression, I have anxiety. I graduated in '08, like the whole world was ending. So I was prepared. I went to school and I prepared for a world that didn't exist anymore, because I graduated in '08 and it was over. And so all these things that I'm telling you, like, I ended up losing my house because I was 20. So that was 2 years after '08. And so I was renting a house and we ended up losing it. And so it was just, if I didn't have gratitude, if I didn't have that perspective of, well, it's going to be okay. There's this underlying hope. There's this underlying sense of joy where things are bad, right? Because happiness is fleeting. Happiness is dependent on our circumstances. We get a new job, you know, we get a new shirt, all these things.
Yeah.
But it can go away. But joy can coexist with all the other emotions. So you could be sad and still have joy. You could be angry and there could still be joy. You could be happy and still be joy. And so joy is like underneath all of the emotions. It works just a little bit differently. Brene Brown talks about that. Hope and joy, I relate them very much. And so gratitude. And then the next thing was habits. This is like the basis of my book, Overcome Yourself. The first part is gratitude.
Sorry, and you also have like journals. I saw them on Amazon, right? So you
yes. Yeah, so that was a few years ago. It's like, I'm gonna learn how to publish journals. And so now I have like 13 journals published on Amazon. And I have my book, Overcome Yourself. And I wrote Overcome Yourself one weekend that I couldn't walk. Like my back, I got hurt. I don't remember what I did. It could have been something like, I remember once I was brushing my teeth and I coughed and that was it. I was out for a week. So I don't remember exactly what I did this time, but I remember that I couldn't even walk to the bathroom. I couldn't wipe myself. Like it was like a whole thing. And so I was like, am I going to stay here and watch Wheel of Fortune, or am I going to do something productive? And, you know, when you're homesick from school, you know, you're watching like the daytime shows that that you never see when you're in school. And so I was like, no, I'm going to be productive. And so I didn't even have a computer. I got a Bluetooth keyboard and my phone. And I was like, what am I going to write about? And I set out to write this beautiful business book. And I ended up writing a book about gratitude habits and discovering the superpower in your weakness, which is everything Overcome Yourself is about.
I love it. You see, I love that. And if you resonate with that, let us know. And if you are somewhere that I can't pull in the comments, I apologize if I can't see them. So Hopefully we will. If you go to the YouTube channel or if you're in the attendees group, then Nicole can see you and let us know that you resonate. So, ooh, that's a lot. So the gratitude,
Yeah.
I say gratitude every single day. I have my little gratitude that my daughter gave me it. Every single day I come live on my YouTube channel, the 7 Freedoms Frequency Podcast, and I express gratitude for all 7 areas. There'll be something. And I do that and I do it openly. I don't write down anymore. I just speak it. And I call it self-speaking into existence. So I love that. And you wrote a whole book on that and habits, obviously, like the habits that got us to where we were when we were going into that dark night and that spiritual awakening. It's like, okay, well, I need to be doing something differently. What was the third thing? So we've got gratitude, habits.
Yes. And then discovering the superpower in what you thought was your weakness. Because
right there, because there's a resistance to letting yourself fall on the floor, like allow it, just receiving the message. And we on the previous episode at 9 a.m. today, my guest was talking about the same thing, and that frequency of love and joy, and it's raising our vibration, right? It's just like, it's just so powerful and so beautiful. So the Overcome Yourself book, is it published yet, or is it on pre-order, or is it just coming?
It will be on pre-order very, very soon. It is currently with my editor. It's a labor of love. I wrote it over one weekend, but I've been editing it for like 3 years now. And so it's just this process. Well, it's, my editor was the one that was like, the first time I submitted it to her, like I've paid for editing twice, because the first time she was like, Nicole, this is good. Like your writing is good and everything. Like you follow the rules, but this is a research paper, not a book. You're going to need to go back in here and you're going to need to flesh it out with your stories. And so literally a labor of love that has just been coming out. And I've just been, perfecting it and working on it for a long time.
I am so looking forward to reading your book. So, people can grab, and so your link to your website and stuff will be, and so people can get to know you. So not only did you write your book, but you've also got the Overcome Yourself podcast, right?
Yes, I do.
Other people sharing their stories of their resilience and their what appears to be that weakness and overcoming that. I love that. Tell us a little bit more.
So I started my podcast to talk about my book, because I was like, I need to talk about my book, even though it's not published. One of the things we talk about on the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit is you can start monetizing your book before it's even published. So I've made tons of money with my book through my podcast, through my summit, through all the things that come from my book, even though it's not even published yet. Because the ideas are there, right? And so the book is just one of the tools that I use, but the lessons are there. So the podcast, it started with just me, and then I started interviewing other people, and there's just this magic that happens when you interview other people and you hear the stories of resilience and you realize, oh my God, I'm not the only one. Because there's a lot of us out there. And so I ask people, like, did you have to overcome yourself? And the things you hear, Iona, it's just, you're just in awe of people, like even of you, Iona, like when you talk about your son, and I'm just like, how, like, how are you here smiling at me right now? Like, that is just unthinkable, And so I commend you and I love you. And I'm so honored to be here with you. I just want to say that.
What you may or may not know, Nicole, is I'm a crier, right? So I'm a crier. I'm a ugly cry, right? But thank you so much. And it means, my work is dedicated to my son. I have my daughter as well, and his daughter, my granddaughter, but my work is dedicated to my son. And, imagine that spiritual awakening. And if you guys have been through anything like that, or you know of anyone, it's not what a mama wants to hear, And so I was doing my summit, my #1 Divine Intervention Summit, Divine Intervention virtual event. And I didn't know that I was going to have a divine intervention. And I knew that I needed to get this message out there and have more of these conversations. And I paused. And the funny thing is, Nicole, as you say that, I was just sharing that same story with my niece. She said, they call me Noni. She says, Auntie Noni, what are these cards that you've been pulling? What did I see you? She's grown, she's 35. She says, what are these cards? And I said, oh, this reminds me of my son, her cousin. And I said, the guy, Carl Gray, said, look in the pack. and see if you can see a family member. And she said, oh, and then if you look on my Facebook, you'll see that my son looks like this. And she's like, oh, wow. And then we just pulled a card and she just got the message. And I just think, wow, when we can share a blessing, because she was really close to him. She'd just done her driving lesson. I gave her my car and she'd done her driving lesson. She said, I could feel him with me. She's like, come on, cuz. So he lives on through us, and being able to just sit here with you and share, you know, you losing a child and I've lost a child, that connection is just so powerful, because it does inspire other people to say, you know, if they can go, like you said, you know, they can do that, I can do it too. But if we can go through what we go through and your guests go through, the level of resilience, and then the audience listen, it's like you are not alone. And it doesn't, I didn't ever think I would be happy again. And I'm not as happy as I would be if my son was here. However, it gave me the fuel to launch this as a movement and to have these conversations, because I could have stayed behind closed doors and I could have stayed in bed the same as way that you could have stayed in bed, you know, when they told you about your health and you've got the, you know, the back of like an 80-year-old, you could have, like when you couldn't walk, you could have just sat, but something calls us and says, birth what those gifts are. You are worthy of birthing this message. And, you know, when you think of, we don't know how long we've got, so let's do it and make it happen. And I love that you use gratitude, because I had this gratitude stone and I couldn't say gratitude. Me and my kids used to say gratitude every single day. I couldn't say gratitude for about 2 years. Not that I wasn't grateful, I just couldn't say it out loud. It would just, like, I'm like, no, absolutely not. And now I say it every single day, and it just is really healing. So I know the power of gratitude. It's not just a thing to do and not just a journal. It really does work, because if I wasn't on that path, I wouldn't be speaking with you. So thank you so much for allowing me to share that, because it matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So you talk about, you know, the journey that you went on with your health. And that was the thing of, one, I don't want to do this job anymore. And two, actually, what am I going to do to make money now and replace those things? Because I'm in a different environment. I'm in a different space. I want more in my life, is what I'm hearing you say. And you've come to work online. So what does that look like for you? For anyone who's, and welcome, do share your energy, do leave a comment for Nicole, do ask anything, do share us your spiritual awakening. We're really interested to hear from you. That's why we share, and we're doing this live. So you're working online. What does it look like for somebody that wants to take their journey, right, and their story and that level of resilience and overcome themselves? How did you start to build your business online? What does it look like? How long has that been for you to get to what you were saying that you do for your clients now?
Okay, that was a rocky road. Just so you guys know. Okay, that was really pretty when I tell it, but it was a rocky road. So I started with building a website. I was like, I want to learn how to build websites. So it took me months, probably years, to finally find a host. And there's a lot out there, and they promise a lot of things, but you get to the checkout page and you're like, So I finally found like a really good host that had very clear, very honest, upfront pricing. I was like, I'd rather pay a few more bucks a month to know exactly what I'm getting.
Yes.
But then the additional resources that they gave me. And so thank God I found this particular host. And I've got like free resources on my website, so you can go check those out, and they're on there.
Tell us what your website is, Nicole. Well, I'll leave it in the comments.
Yeah, it's NicoleTuxbury.com.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, super simple. So now it is. But when I first started, I had another website, you know, and I had to learn, because I'd literally never done this before. My brother was like the computer person, and I was not. And I'm here, and I'm like, who do you think you are trying to build websites? You're like, you figure this out. If that mommy bitch can do it, if that mommy blogger, can do it, then you can totally do it. And so, so I started building, and then I learned how to use Canva. And I was like, this feels like cheating. This feels like cheating, because these are templates and I just wrote something else. But yeah, that's what it was. And so I taught myself.
It's already a rocky road. and you figured it out, and then you're like, well, you shouldn't have figured it out that way. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's how we figure things out, right? So I learned to use Canva. I sent a lot of messages to my host. You know, I asked him a lot of questions that I realized now I look back, I'm like, this is probably like a 101 course that I did not take. But they answered all my questions, you know, and then I ended up now I'm SEO certified. So I learned all about search engine optimization, and I got certified to do that. Then I did some work with some bloggers, some, you know, very entry level work where I would go into their blogs and I would search engine optimize their content. So I would look through the content that they wrote and make sure they had all the headings, that their graphics were good, that they had the links that they needed, all that good stuff. And so I did a lot of work with some big bloggers. So like those bloggers that I was like, if they can do it, like I got to work for them. And I actually got one of those jobs through being a participant in a summit and following one of the summit speakers who later put out this job posting. So I want to let you know that watching summits, even free summits, can lead to paid opportunities.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, because that's an opportunity that changed my life. I started getting paid like $25 for each one of these articles. I started going through articles like they were candy, you know. And so, but I was like, okay, but if they're paying me $25 an article, you know, imagine how much they're making from these articles. And so, you know, just going down the line, I learned about funnels, and then that was it. Like my whole life changed. So one of my consultants is like, you need to go check out this funnel thing, but don't use the software. Just learn to do it because you already know all the tech stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And so now I help my clients build funnels starting with their freebies, and my clients monetize their freebies. So people download their freebie and then they go and buy things. And like I monetize my free events too, like my summits. Yeah. People come in, they get great information for free, and they do have the option to upgrade to VIP. And so I monetize even my free events, and I teach my clients how to do that. And so it all started with a wild dream. And I love freebies because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for freebies and low cost resources. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about, is giving other people opportunities. Because that's what I had, you know, that's what somebody gave me. And so that's what I want to do for the next person too.
I love that. Thank you. And that's why with the spiritual alchemy giveaway, that's exactly that. And then we have the spiritual ascension after show party where you can come and you can add your energy. I know that sometimes on social media, you know, you might be a little bit shy to comment and not actually disclose everything, but we do have a private space. There's a Zoom call on the third Thursday of the month where you can add your energy and just share, and we can get to know you. So you unpacked a lot. What I love was the genius of not only the thought and the idea, because we get those nudges when we have that spiritual awakening. We're more in tune with our higher self, and we're just nudged and we're guided. And if we say yes, then the miracles happen. Even when we do feel that fear, like I'm not fully qualified about this, like, and the self-talk is in your mind. But you said yes, and not only did you say yes to doing what they were doing, but you actually helped them, assisted them, and got paid, rather than just like, well, they're doing it, I'm going to do the exact same thing that they're doing. You actually was, okay, well, where's the gap? And I love that. So not only you're helping them get their message and getting in front of more people, but you're honing your area of expertise. And then and I love that. And that monetizing is massive, because for me, going through the awakening, and as I mentioned, all areas of my life, including financial freedom, it was like, worthy financial freedom, huh? Trading time for money is what you're supposed to be doing, not working in a business online. Money blocks. And many of us do have that. And so I love that you say, you know, actually, I had that experience of having money coming into my life. I was serving, and now there's a gap. So what am I going to do to replace that and some? And I think that's what we've got to think of. Like, if we don't want to go get a soul-sucking day job or a night job, I say soul-sucking, but it doesn't have to be. But if we don't want to do that, and we're entrepreneurs and we're light workers, and we want to do our work in the world, we need to figure out how to share our gifts in exchange. Yes, there's a free element, but also there's a paid, but otherwise it's not business. If there's nothing that's paid, if you're not solving any problems, that are paid. It's not a business. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to work for anyone else. I want to work for me. So,
And friendly reminder that even nonprofits make crazy amounts of money.
I
So
know.
you can't even say that you're not a nonprofit. No, because nonprofits make money.
Money
Tons
and
of it.
yeah, and it's an energy exchange. We make money something else other than energy. And I know that whoever has it in their hands, whatever they might do, but they might do different things, not just with money, but other forms of power. And for you, for me, I had to be clear on actually contributing and serving is the way that I want to earn that money. So am I going to be this person that I'm thinking these rich people are blah, 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 or these people that make money? No, you're just going to be more and have more freedom.
Yes.
So you talked about monetizing and you talked about the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit. So again, I featured on Nicole and Brenda's summit, which I loved. And I talk about monetizing your book as well. And that's what we were there for, to stop writing. Like you said, you know, if you would have waited these whole 3 years to get this book out and then thought, oh, well, I'll monetize it. Exactly. And you had to pay an editor. You know, it costs money. It does cost money. And so I love that you are talking about monetizing. Can we move into the 3 gifts that you bring to the summit for the Spiritual Alchemy giveaway? Because I think that's a nice segue. What is it? What's it called?
So I have a book that I've written, an ebook that you guys are going to get absolutely free. It's called The Profit Machine. The best, I don't know, I changed the title a few times. The best of the Profit Machine Summit in a book. So I hosted my first summit, the Profit Machine Summit, like my own summit a few years ago now. And I took all the expertise from all of these amazing experts that I learned from their presentations, and I put it all into a book. And now that book is available for you, and you can get it for free. So it is for sale on my website, but as a summit attendee, you know, for watching this presentation, you're getting it absolutely free. And you do have the option to upgrade after. You don't have to, but if you wanted to, a physical workbook, so you can have a physical workbook shipped to you if you want to help you implement all of those activities. If not, the free book is there for you, and you're more than welcome to have it. No strings attached at all. So
thank you so much. And that is for upgraders of this summit, the YouTube Podcasting Summit. So if you do upgrade and you come to the Spiritual Ascension After Show, you'll get access to all of the free gifts. It's $11.11, and for the whole entire year, actually, because it's not about, oh, I want to monetize it. It's that, okay, we'll commit to that next step and we'll meet in the middle, because there is free and then there is that investment and there is that showing up. So I love that. And there's a lot of value that's being shared. So I love that. Thank you so much for the, so the Profit Machine Summit. So you've got your other summit, and thank you for the love. So you've got your Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit. You've done that. I've been on the 2.0, right? So will you do that again? Can we still get access to that? Because it's only just the live rounds have only just finished. So can we still get access to that? Because this will be available for the duration, or not?
Yes, right now, this week, Brenda and I just had a talk yesterday. We were like, this stuff is just too good not to share. And so through the end of this week, not only are you going to get the replays, it's a $99 for VIP, and you're going to get all of the replays from all of the presentations, plus you're going to get the speaker bonuses. So all the bonuses that speakers contributed. So when you get in there, you already have a free gift from every speaker, but you're also going to get an exclusive speaker bonus to help you implement whatever the speaker was going to present. And almost every speaker, gave one. And so there's like over $5,000 in value in there, and you can still get it this week for $99.
Love it. So as we're going on forward, because for me, what I wanted to do, and I know that you do the summit differently, and I had done a summit similar, and I wanted to, so this will be available on my YouTube channel, and it will be a podcast. So moving forward, will you just do another summit, or will it be like, there's a limited time? So we're now in November 2023. And so, yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I did a 30-minute presentation, which I loved doing. And I know that so much value. So will that be locked down? There's a limited time. So if you are watching.
Yes.
It's for
Yes. So after this Sunday, the speaker bonuses are going away. So the replays will still be available, but the speaker bonuses will not. So, it behooves you to grab it right now so you can get all the extra goodies. And then I know for next year, my heart is really calling me to work more towards in-person events, and so I will be seeing where that takes me. um, and I know there will be definitely some more summits in the next year. We just haven't discussed the specifics. So right now I'm not as planned as you, Iona. I don't have the next 7 years planned out, so I'm not sure.
Yes, if you guys don't know, for my YouTube, because it's a way for me to grow my YouTube channel, to be consistent, to bring guests in. I don't have to edit. I don't edit. I'm not an editor at all. I could outsource it, but I'm just like, yeah, I know. I'm just
Ask me if my podcast is edited, because it's not.
That's just like, who cares? Let's just come and have a conversation, raw and real, in the moment. And I absolutely love it. And it was downloaded to me, and I was just like, you want me to do what?
Yeah.
And I had the idea back when I was doing the summit, so it's 8 years ago when I first did it. And then I came offline, and then, help and heal myself first. And I came online, and I did a version of the legendary Light Leaders telechat show. And I'm like, okay, that's not quite it. And then this, I'm like, okay, because I wanted to grow my YouTube and I wanted to do a podcast. And I was like, I'm all about leverage. So I'm just like, how do I? And so that's just me doing it differently. And people are like, what are you doing again? I'm like, well, it's just like, it is what it is. And I love the evergreen. I like easy. I do love the power of summits are amazing, and the power of collaboration is absolutely amazing. I just like it to go on forever and ever and ever. So yeah, that's that organization that came to me, that planning, and it's not for everyone, but I just thought, okay, how do I hold myself accountable? And when I go down and I'm out and I'm going through more awakenings, because I will, it's going to be here for me as well, because the last 8 years, there's so many awakenings, so many shifts since my son has passed, and just living that life. And it seems like so long, like 7 years. Are you crazy? But I've just done 8 from the first summit, and imagine that momentum. And I did it through Google Hangouts. And so that was on YouTube. You did a hangout and it went onto YouTube, but YouTube wasn't the thing for me. And then the second one I did from Zoom, streaming onto YouTube. So it's always been YouTube. I just didn't really know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I love it. So thank you for sharing your gift with us. Before we wrap up, because I want to respect your time, is there anything else that you want to share that like comes to mind that you've missed about your journey, or you want anyone else to know about their journey, how they can move forward with your tool, or just working with you, or anything like that? Is there anything that comes to mind before we wrap up?
I usually go over the 3 things we talked about: the gratitude, so adjusting your perspective, your success habits. And success habits, again, like I had lost my job, so I didn't have a lot of money. So the things that I tell you don't cost money, okay? Because I wanted to make sure it was something that anybody could do, no matter what level you're at. You're rich, you ain't got nothing, you can still get it done. So habits, I watched this show and they were like, can this help people with cancer? And the author was like, no. And I was like, I wanted to make sure that my book would help you no matter what. That's really like the point of it is, I didn't want it to just to be for like, oh, this is only to get rich. Like that's not what it's about. Anyway, so gratitude are success habits, which are like drinking more water, getting more steps in your day, reading for 30 minutes.
Pardon? Say it again.
Yes, reading for like 30 minutes, just grabbing a book and sitting down instead of, watching TV or instead of doing whatever, and just integrating those success habits. And again, it's a superpower in your weakness. Like when I was little, I was told I was bossy and that I talked too much. And now people pay me to lead them and to talk to them. And so don't let that stop you. If they told you you were bossy, well, how can I use that? If they told you you talk too much, well, how can I use that? Like if I talk too much, lean into it, get paid for it. Why not?
It's leadership. So when I'm like speaking to someone in the online dating and stuff, and I'm like, I ask them what are their flaws. And I go, so I know if I can live with them. And I go, well, apparently mine are being bossy, but I believe it's leadership. Apparently, exactly. I talk a lot of like, you either love it or hate it, So the same. And it's funny how when you come together in the interviewing and stuff, just how similar our paths are, because those are the two things that stood out. I mean, I'm 50 now, and people still say it. I'm like, huh? But it's just leadership for me. That's how I use it, and it's not bossy, overpowering. It's just that we know. I've got a knowing. I've got a sense of knowing. That's my that's my gift, and I talk, and it's some people say that it's helpful. So.
It is, yes. And you know what? It's about learning to use those things correctly, right? Because if you're a superhero, any superhero, you have a superpower. You have to learn how to wield that superpower. You can't just go out there and, like if you watch The Boys, you know what happens when you have a superpower and you just let it fly, right? But if you talk too much, well, what are you talking about? Are you watching, like gossip TV, and then you're turning around and all you do is gossip? Well, nobody wants to hear that. But if you are constantly like, now I'm constantly reading about self-development and about business and about the next thing. And so when I talk gold, just, I just show up and people are like, well, just talk. And I'm like, I don't know. And they were like, oh my God, that was amazing. I'm like, I was just talking shit. And they're like, no, but that's so good, because that's what flows out of me, because that's what I'm studying. And then with leadership, there's management, which we all know we don't like managers, but then there's leadership, and you have to read about it. You have to develop that leader within you so that you can help other people rise up too, And so, yeah, it's about developing those natural gifts that you already have. Don't try to push them down. I tried to be quiet. It did not work for me. So now I get paid to talk. Lean into it.
It's painful because it's not the natural you, and you're kind of shrinking. And I had a similar experience more recently, and I was in a friendship that had a friendship for like 30 years, and I have changed. She has changed, and I shine my light and I do my work in the world. That wasn't the version of Iona that she knew, and I'm like, I am not about to dumb myself down. I am not about to sit there and quiet. No, that's not me anymore, And so never let anyone have you shrink. And it's not everybody's intention to do that. It's just that when somebody's not comfortable with who they are, or somebody's just like, well, who do you think you are? We already say that to ourselves. We don't, if you're in a place where you are ready to birth your gift, speak, and share your voice, absolutely do that. It is your divine duty and right to do that, and to, like you said, at the end, honing that in a way that's helpful and it's useful and it's powerful, is absolute gold. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. One of the things I said in my book was, imagine how their inner child must be screaming at them to see you following your dreams and doing what you want to do. And their inner child is in there being suppressed. And they're, well, she gets to talk however she wants, and she gets to go on vacation, and she gets to do, and she doesn't have to go in traffic. And they're like, well, you're ugly, and I don't like what you do, and you talk too much. That's what's happening. It's not you. It's their inner child is like, but she gets to do what she wants. Look at her having fun, So yeah, we have to learn to talk to that inner child. Yeah.
That was exactly, you played it. That was exactly. I could feel that. Yeah. And I am not about to be dictated to by that. And that isn't directed at me, it's directed at themselves. You know what I mean? And we just be so mindful of that. So I've got my great neck. I can hear the band banging out the door. So with that said, thank you so much for sharing your gold, sharing your gifts. I've really enjoyed this conversation. And again, for anyone watching and listening to my great nephew trying to get in virtual, I really appreciate your energy. Do leave a comment for Nicole. Do find out. Go to NicoleTuxbury.com. Is it? Yeah. For your website. Check out the free gift. I've loved this conversation. We do run between the summit between October and April. I'm coming. October through to April at 9 a.m., 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. UK time. All right. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's just been epic. Thank you so much for sharing. Your it's just been absolutely incredible. So I will let you go. Have you got anything final to say? Like one little takeaway? Yeah, just amazing. Thank you.
I love you guys. Let me know. Let me know how I can help. I would love to help out. And I don't know, there was a bunch of stuff, but it all just disappeared. So thank you so much for having me, Iona. This has been wonderful.
If you've got, yeah, definitely, because I don't want to cut it out. If there's something that's come through, and because it was gold with the, be you, just be you, and share that voice, or share that whatever that is, the success habits, and just moving through life and learning who you are and giving that to the world.
Yeah. And having fun.
In the book, then?
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else in the book? So you had the success habits. Was there another one? There's another layer?
We've got gratitude, success habits. Oh, and by the way, in the Profit Machine Summit in a book, the one that you guys are getting for free, the first 4 chapters are all about your mindset and gratitude. And I put an activity in there to help you clean out your world to manifest more money. And so there's a lot of like mindset work in the first 4 days, and then you go into all the other experts. So there's a lot of goodness in there. And adjust your perspective. Have grace on yourself. You need to learn to have grace on yourself. So forgiveness is counting the number of items in somebody's basket and being like, oh, they have more than 10 and we're in the 10 under less aisle. Having grace is not counting how many items are in that basket at all. So don't forget to have grace on yourself, because we all make mistakes. So you set up a habit and then you didn't do it today, grace. Like you didn't practice your gratitude, grace. You weren't nice to yourself, grace. Have grace on yourself. Shame cannot exist in oxygen. Once it's exposed to oxygen, it dies. So anytime you're feeling shame, let it out, and have grace on yourself. Like that's gratitude, grace. Those are the 2 things that I literally can't live without. So yeah,
that's such a beautiful way to put it, and to wrap up today's conversation, because I say, and I ask others to give me grace. Give me grace in this moment, and I do give grace to myself, and I give grace to others, and it's just to move with ease, grace, and flow. And when you ask others for grace, they can see that, oh, you don't think you're perfect, you don't think no, give me grace, and remember others around you that's grace as well. So there's just less friction in the day-to-day. Life can be hard enough as it is, going through your spiritual awakening, your dark night of the soul. There's so much resistance, there's so much that comes up. Giving ourselves grace in that is just a beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you so much, Nicole. So
thank you, Iona.
Thank you. That is it for today's episode. And I will see you at 9 p.m. For the next episode. And again, binge watch Wednesdays at the Soul Legacy TV is where you will find us. You will have this replay. You can watch it again and again and again. Let Nicole know how you found it. Thank you, Nicole. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.